Welcome, everybody. Today I've got Myles on the call. This is a series of videos that we're going to be doing in the community where I'm going to be interviewing business owners and entrepreneurs and people from the corporate space as well in our paid Elite Mastermind community or network. And like I said, today I've got Myles. Myles, how's it going?
How's it, Quentin? Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I want to start off by asking you just to briefly sort of introduce yourself as to what it is you do, what your sort of expertise are, and what industry you're in, and also where you're based.
Yeah. As you know, my name is Myles. My business name is Cloud and Cloud Solutions. And as a full view, we look at all sorts of cloud-based software. But our main focus is business telephone systems. Um, that's where our passion is, and we are based in Durban,
Cool. We're about in Durban.
yeah, on the bluff,
Cool. Awesome.
South Basin.
Awesome. That's for the people that are in Durban. That because for somebody from Joburg, I don't really know the areas in any case, but that's awesome. So just also give you some context. Myles is also involved in our community, and he also hosts our face-to-face meetups and has stepped up there. So he's also an expert in building networks and building relationships and that. And you'll see I'm sure as Myles shares, you'll see how he's built his business and that, which will also be helpful for you to know how he's gone about it, because a lot of it is exactly what we teach in the community and that. Myles, in your industry, what is the biggest mistakes that you see clients make when they're choosing solutions and that?
Cool. So, like I say, my business is focused on cloud-based software, but the thing that I want to bring up is computers, and it's always such a frustration, and I see people get hurt so badly when they are on a budget. They'll go out and buy the cheapest machines from Macro, and personally, it just these machines come brand new and they can't even run. And so anybody who's on a tight budget rather look at a second-hand machine. It'll operate so much better. It's just, that's your starting point. That's your connectivity, getting onto the internet, onto cloud-based software. Without a good machine, it's you're wasting your time. And it's such an important tool for business.
Okay. And in the cloud solution space, what mistakes do you typically see people make in that space?
Look, so I think the biggest areas there is just so many products out there, and it's essentially what people take as what marketing has won them over, and they end up taking the wrong solutions for what they need, for what their business needs. When people are tied down to products, they'll suggest and push their products, and you need to take this, or this is the answer, because they want to get the sale, but it might not be the right solution for your business. So I think just connecting with somebody who understands, what your business needs are, and working that out, then finding the right solution for your business. So yes, there's just so many products out there. They don't cater for everything, and it's a mix and match. It's just learning how to tie everything together. So always worth dealing with a professional than buying direct from suppliers.
And Myles, how long have you been in the cloud space?
In the cloud space, professionally, as my own business, since 2020, it's a business I started up in lockdown. Um, as a hobby, I was involved with it before, but not as a career. So when COVID happened, I decided to just make a shift, shut down my handyman business, and get into the cloud space. So for 5 years now, the fifth year.
Cool. And tell me something that I'm focused a lot on lately when I'm coaching people, and that is processes. So I'm curious to find out, what is your process in when you engaging with a client? What's your process usually look like when engaging with clients?
Look, so engaging with clients, it's all about making those connections. I am just passionate about networking, so building a relationship. Once we get that going, it's hearing what their problems are, listening to what frustrations they've got, where they're at, and then just trying to make an assessment of what the ideal roadmap forward is, and then what the budget friendly roadmap forward is. So coming up with a solution that works between budget and productivity, what's going to expand their business. My passion is just to see businesses grow. You know, if I am involved with that, you know, I appreciate that, and yeah, just really passionate about growing businesses.
Cool. And tell me, do you do advertising for your business, or how do you generally? I mean, you've obviously touched on how you create clients, but what's your? Do you do any advertising, that kind of stuff? And the reason why I'm asking this question is for maybe somebody that's in the similar space to you. Maybe they've just started. You know, where or when you started, how did you start creating clients, especially in 2020? You know, that was obviously COVID days. So
Yeah.
what does it look like? Has it changed, you know, to what when you started, or is it still the same?
So for me, I've always been passionate about networking. So all my clients are word of mouth, just connecting with people. It's something I do all the time. It's, you know, I'm at events weekly, connecting with people, being engaged, and it just leads to business. You know, sometimes you might land a deal straight away. Somebody wants your services. I've had clients come back, you know, after 7, 8 months ago. I spoke to them and like, hey, you know, I'm ready for that service now. You're like, what? I forgot about you. Um, so you don't know where you're going to pick up that business from. So just reach out, network with people, connect. I will be adding in advertising this year, just to test the waters and see. But yeah, for me, it's all about building those relationships.
Cool. And tell me, yeah, so I think that's an important thing as well in business. That's why I asked is what you did 4 years ago might not be exactly the same thing you're doing now, right? Because it depends where you are in your journey or in your business. So it's very important to understand that you know, everybody, a lot of people get stuck with the idea of they see some YouTube video of how to create clients, but it's more applicable to established businesses. Now, if you're a startup, it's a completely different process again. In fact, when you started, what was how did your initial first few clients, how did you create those clients?
Again, just you know, people that are new, you know, these are my products, having relationship with them. There was a couple of people, some of my first clients were startups themselves, and needed to have telecoms established, website hosting, things like that. They needed those facilities. So it's also wherever you at the time of your business, you might think this is the products that the world needs, and you prepare yourself and launch all your products. I don't have any products that I started with when I started my business. They're all out the window, and products that I actually stayed away from. Like, nah, I'm not really interested in doing that, have become my biggest turnover. So you don't know where things are going to be. You need to be agile, especially in the IT space. But I think it's every industry. It's all about being agile. Like I say, my passion is networking, connecting with people, and that's the way you do business. You know, it's on a handshake. But I know there is opportunity with Instagram. I'm like, I don't do Instagram, but I'm going to look at those kinds of things. I need to try other things just to see it. You know, you learn, hey, there's something new. Oh, wow, that worked. I would have never thought. Yeah, just always being flexible, willing to try anything, ready to learn new stuff. I think that's the key to growth.
Awesome. And tell me, give me an example of how you've assisted some clients, maybe in the recently or previously, some client examples of how you've helped clients solve problems that they had?
Sure. I think that's the biggest thing I do. I am a problem solver. Um, so I've had clients, they moved premises. I think it was 8 or 9 months earlier, and they still haven't got their landlines transferred. Like, guys, I mean, it's a heck of a long time. So got onto it straight away. Within a week, telephones were up and running and good to go. Um, on the web hosting side, I've got a client struggling. The system is just too big and nobody wants to touch it. The email accounts, 100+ gig email accounts, just ridiculous. And I had to go through a whole learning phase because even my suppliers didn't want to touch it because of the difficulties involved. So I ended up setting up my own systems, my own servers to handle those kind of clients, those problematic clients that other people don't want to deal with. So no matter what it is, if a person's got a problem, if they having a struggle with something, I will find a solution for them. And I think it's just so important. Everybody's got enough hassles running a business in general. You don't need hassles from software and nonsense like that and me wasting money. So that's where I'll fill in the gap, is finding solutions.
Cool. And so if I had to ask you, because somebody might be watching this now and going, okay, I wonder if Myles could assist me with this. Maybe Myles, maybe it's not the space. If you had to sort of just give me high level, these are the kind of problems that you do solve, that a person obviously without tech savvy like myself would be able to understand. What would be those problems that you help clients solve?
So basically anything from web hosting, I offer web hosting services, just finding the right package that suits them. I have got competitive pricing, through to the way they're tracking data. If you're using a lot of spreadsheets to try and track data, things like that, there are solutions for that can add so much value to your business. I'm not saying spreadsheets are bad. A lot of my stuff is still done on spreadsheets and on quite complex sheets, just because that's what works for me in that scenario. But anybody who's trying to manage data, capture data, have accessibility to data, to reach out, that is another big thing, and another big value add is getting everything into the cloud. It has just become so much cheaper in the last couple of years that it's no problem to have all your business data backed up to the cloud. So I've just been through a thing now recently myself, struck by lightning, not myself, but my home network, and taking out my PC and everything like that. And my laptop's always set up and ready to go. It's connected to my account, so all the data is there. So PC turned off, couldn't switch it back on again. Pulled the drives out, insurance was replaced it, bought a brand new machine, switch it on, log into my accounts, and all the data is back again. So it doesn't matter where I go, whether it be my desktop PC, my laptop, my mobile, I've got access to all my data 24/7. If the client needs information, I can access it.
Cool. Tell me, what's the biggest challenge what's the biggest challenge, what's the biggest, not challenge, I'm trying to find the word, struggling with the words, but what's your biggest lesson that you've learned in business in the last, say, 4 years since you started this business?
I think there would have to be cash flow always surprises you when it runs
Explain
out.
that,
Yeah,
explain that to us.
yeah. No, I think you. So one of the toughest things I think is is cash flow. Being a fairly young business, trying to do everything with as little credit as possible. So you're dealing a lot in cash. So when you have clients not pay, it really upsets the cash flow. So just focus, it's all about growing the business. Whatever you're doing, it's for the business. So if that means not taking any money out of the business to build up resources and keep the business stable, that's the important goal. So for small people, as you grow up, or sort of grow bigger, yeah, I think just staying ahead, looking at what's the next steps, always having that bigger plan. So like I said earlier, is like coming up with a solution. What would be the best solution for your company? All right. So now what fits with the budget right now? So this is what we can work on right now, but we've always got a plan. What's the next steps? Because those things are designed to add value to the business as it grows, it expands. Yeah, you just, if you're always ready with your software, with your abilities to grow with the business, you'll never ever have an issue with scaling. The
Mm.
scaling part's easy. So yeah, I think the toughest area is young businesses, low cash flow kind of situations. But if you're prepared, you've got a plan going forwards. As soon as those deals come in, you're able to scale and move out from there.
Cool. And tell me what's one or maybe a few of the biggest mistakes that you've made in being in business?
I think I'm certainly too kind on people sometimes. So I certainly struggle. I think one of my biggest struggles is uh, drawing the line between tech support and the products I'm actually selling. And some clients will, keep phoning me about their printer that keeps disconnecting. I'm like, guys, I didn't even sell you the printer. It's literally has nothing to do with me. I host your website and your telephone system. Like, the printer's got nothing to do with me. And it's trying to distinguish that line that I'm getting better at. You always want to help a client, but you got to know when to be fair.
Yeah, it's a principle I actually share with the coaching writers. It's called serving versus pleasing.
Yeah,
And that line can sometimes be blurred between, am I serving my client now, or am I just trying to please them? And the pleasing in the long run never really works out for a business as well.
yeah, 100%. But I also think it's important that sort of having traveled through that myself. So when I learn things like that, I get to identify straight away. I totally understand. I always struggled. I didn't have a word to put it. What is it? That's happening here. It's just you stuck up, shit creek without a paddle. Like you don't know what to do. But having experience that when you get educated, okay, I identified quicker to warn the client beforehand, right? I can help you with this, but I'm going to have to bill you for it. It is not anything to do with my products, and it's clear and fair.
Tell me, if a client was looking at cloud solutions and stuff like that, and they've got, I always know this, when I was in the copy industry and stuff, is you'd go to a client and they got 5 quotes on the table of like 5 different copiers or printers. And I mean, it becomes a nightmare for the client to actually, because it's not always apples compared with apples, right? So in your space, if a client had 2 or 3 proposals in front of them, what would be some tips you'd give them on what to look out for when choosing cloud solutions or IT solutions, or like you mentioned with the laptops now, you gave us those tips. What other things should clients look out for?
So again, I think that rolls back to that relationship and that networking. If you're building on good relationship with a client, so it's not just a salesperson who sent through a quote, because like I say, they're trying to sell what best suits their commission on the job, and now you're stuck with, like you say, many different options. Um, which way do you go? So having relationship with clients, that relationship's in place. So that person will then phone me and say, "Hey, Myles, I've got this problem. And yes, they'll phone me about their printer issues or this or that. What do we do next? I had a client just set up a new office, and most of their tech they asked me about. They didn't take anything from me. I just pointed them in the direction. I went in and handles a setup. They have got quite a few products with me. They called me in for the technical support, everything like that, but it wasn't. They could save on sort of 50,000 rand. They save 1,000 rand by buying it all themselves. We have sent them to, but I get all the support and help them set up the products and get things up and running. So it is important to have a professional to dig through that data, that stuff that's not being sold. I see it a lot in telephone systems where people come to me and, your products on, do you offer unlimited calling? And I'm always no. And I'll tell you why is everywhere else is offering these free minutes, this and that, and all these kinds of sales things. But if you take the pricing, you break it down, do the maths behind it, you can see what those call rates are, and you're not saving money. My systems are just cheaper. So it's understanding and fighting through all that marketing stuff. So find somebody, if you need help with something, find somebody who understands the technology, to have a chat with them. Reach out. I'm happy to chat with anybody. For me, it's about building relationships. So if you want to know, you've got a couple of options for printers that you're looking at, I'm happy to have a look at it and have a look at all the technical specs and see which is the most economical option.
So what I'm hearing you saying is basically like being a trusted advisor.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's always, unless you understand the stuff, if you're sitting with a bunch of quotes, you need somebody who understands the stuff, because that's the only way. There's just so many marketing angles. It makes it so difficult to, watch out for this, watch out for that. It's all over the place.
Cool. Myles, in wrapping up in that, I want to ask you, what's the best way of people contacting you? We'll obviously put the details at the bottom of this video, but what's the best way to get hold of you if they've got questions and stuff?
Best is to drop me an email, like Quentin says, it'll be at the bottom, or drop me a WhatsApp. We'll have my business WhatsApp line on there. And yeah, so see how I can help you. It'll be great to connect and have a meeting with you, and yeah, we can see from there.
Cool. And one last thing, and then we're gonna end the call there. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with potential clients?
I would say one thing I always like to remind people: remember, your technology is not something to cut corners on. They are one of the most important tools in our businesses. So whether it's your laptop, the software you need to go for, don't cut your corners of your budget there. That's not the place. Find other places to cut it. But not having the right tools to serve your clients is what's going to keep your business down. Investing in the right tools and growing. There are ways of doing it, on a budget and saving money. Just speak to the right advisor and let them help you just make the right decisions. But the tools are so important.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. And Myles, thank you for your time. And yeah, we'll chat soon.
Pleasure. Thank you for your time.